Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really glad to be a participant of such an important scientific event as this conference is. My name is Pozdnukhova. I'm from Higher School of Economics, and I'm a junior research assistant in Institute of Education. And today I'd like to present you a scientific research which name as Demand for and Lack of Agentic Qualities, the Graduates Case of Entrepreneurship Education Programs in Russia. First of all, let's talk about the relevance of the research. First of all, insufficient understanding of factors and mechanisms which are lying in the basis of success in entrepreneurship teaching and training. So, in particular, the impact of entrepreneurship education on graduates' personality is understudied. Secondly, nowadays, in the context of destructuration, questions about personality characteristics associated with the ability for transformative agency, including entrepreneurial activities, of course, become especially important. Thirdly, practical task is to understand if and how these characteristics can be shaped through education. Graduates of entrepreneurship education programs with an experience in entrepreneurial activity are especially relevant empirical material for us in this study because they know both education and practice. They are graduates from authoritative education organizations in Russia. They studied entrepreneurship and then they became real entrepreneurs. So that is why they are extremely interesting object for us. So now let's emphasize on research questions. It is very important for us to find out, firstly, what personality traits are empirically most typical for graduates of the leading entrepreneurship education programs in Russia, and secondly, how do the personality traits shaped during entrepreneurship education correlate with personality characteristics which are actual entrepreneurial practice has shown to be necessary? Here, we can see a literature meta-analysis. During this meta-analysis, there were 38 international publications analyzed. And we highlighted three main directions. The first is motivation, the second is personal experience, and the third is personality features. In motivation, we can see three main parts: personal, public, and business motivation. What does it mean? So personal motivation, talking about it, it can show us why do entrepreneurs do some business projects? What for? So, and here in literature, we can see some of the results. Firstly, self-development, then self-realization. Talking about public motivation, why is it so important for them to do something for society? That's kindness, tolerance, desire to contribute to societal well-being. And thirdly, business motivation. As a business motivation, it is written that it's quite important to have a profit, income, and of course to have interest in work process. Secondly, personal experience. Here, we highlighted skills. Which skills are here? Firstly, make managerial decisions, apply logic and evidence, manage people's behavior. So that means people from their team or some other people in their surroundings. Innovative, teach the team, and of course, strategic mindset. So, and thirdly, talking about personality features, we can highlight 4 main directions: volition, self-esteem, emotionality, intellectuality. As a volition, we can name boldness, insistence, intensity, and purposefulness. As self-esteem, that's self-confidence, of course, and dignity. As emotionality, excitability, expressiveness, and cheerfulness. And intellectuality, that's mental flexibility, logic, originality, ingenuity, and high level of professional knowledge, of course. We cannot name them. We should do that. So let's talk about the sample of this research. As a sample, we took graduates of entrepreneurship education programs who were recommended by leading experts and mentors in the field of entrepreneurship education in Russia. What is quite important in this sample? That each respondent has experience in launching his or her own business project. So that means that they all have a real practice in doing business. In this table, you can see firstly affiliation of respondents. Here are some educational organizations in Russia, and on the right side, you can see number of respondents, and in total, there were 82 respondents, as you can see. Now, research focus. We emphasized on what personal qualities an entrepreneur must have in order to be successful in practice. And secondly, what personal qualities have entrepreneurship education shaped. So they can be knowledge, skills, attitudes related to entrepreneurial activity, and etc. Now let's switch to results. Firstly, now I'd like to tell you some characteristics mentioned as important to entrepreneurial activity. First of all, that's self-sufficiency, then proactivity, readiness to take risks, and creative mindset. And here in the slide, you can also see some quotes from in-depth semi-structured interviews with our respondents. Secondly, characteristics that are referred to as learning outcomes. Firstly, sociability, which is well known as communication skills, then strategic mindset, and good organization skills. And here are again some quotes from semi-structured interviews. You can get acquainted with them. Finally, key results of this research. Talking about the results, we can highlight the next. Firstly, characteristics associated with proactivity, agency, which are emphasized as important for entrepreneurial activity, are not mentioned as learning outcomes. What does it mean? It means that the entrepreneurial practice demand is not satisfied by entrepreneurship education, and we can name it as a problem, nowadays practice problem. Secondly, respondents are dominated by personal motivation. That's really important, highly important for this case. That is the desire to fulfill themselves as a personality. Entrepreneurship is perceived as a self-expression of the personality, so not reducible to external economic effects. That means that for our respondents, the most important motivation is personal motivation, self-motivation. So they are doing it for self-development. They are doing, business projects for self-development. Thirdly, the special importance of agency, proactive behavior, the desire and ability to change existing structures to create something new, which is according to John Mayer concept, expanded actorhood, are widely noted. And moreover, these abilities are considered as morally positive and culturally approved. And here you can see a quote of one of our respondents that was very important to him. He firstly left previous non-entrepreneurial job because he didn't feel that he did something special for the society. He didn't feel that he made some benefit for them. So that is why he decided to be an entrepreneur, to do something useful for people which are surrounded him. 4, the ability to cope with economic disequilibrium is indicated. So, especially noted is the ability associated not with a change in the type of occupation, but with the beginning of a new cycle of entrepreneurial activity in a new sphere of economy. So that means that entrepreneurs have some universal characteristics, personality characteristics, and also skills which can help them to switch to another sphere, another field with no any additional education. And that is a very interesting artifact of this study. And you also can see a special quote to it. And finally, changes in the activities of the entrepreneur become an important factor in the transformation of the individual's behavior. So that means that our respondents talked about a special personality transformation after doing their business, after doing their own project, entrepreneurial project. And here is a special quote that one of our respondents started a business on healthy food. And then, after some months, he saw that it benefited him, and he began to switch to healthy nutrition himself. So that is a very good proof of self-transformation, which is really important. So that is the most important goal of entrepreneurship, and so it should be a very important goal of entrepreneurship education as well. So that is the end of my presentation. I would be pleased to answer your questions if you have any. Thank you very much for your attention.